Good morning. Bonjour, Ani. My name is Matthew Sukram. I am the communications coordinator for MP Anthony Rota. Thank you so much for being here with us today. Merci beaucoup d'être ici aujourd'hui. We will have three speakers who will address the projects that are going to take place at Jack Garland Airport. And I will ask any media that have joined in if they could remain muted throughout the course of the session here. That would be great. And there will be some time afterwards where we can do some media questions. I will ask you to put those in the chat box and I will relay those questions following the speeches. Just put who you are directing those questions to, and we'll get to them the best we can. I will now hand things over to the Honourable Member of Parliament and Speaker of the House of Commons, Anthony Rota. Anthony.
Thank you very much, Matt. Hello, bonjour, Annie. Thank you for being here today. Merci d'être ici avec nous aujourd'hui pour cette annonce très importante. We would have liked to have been here in person at the airport, but as with everything else now with COVID, everything is being done virtually. So thank you for tuning in. I mean, this is a great announcement for the city of North Bay and the riding of Nipissing-Temiskaming and really the whole region, because the pandemic has highlighted the important role Canada's local and regional airports play in our economy. The Jack Garland Airport is a vital asset to sustaining the social and economic well-being of our community, not only North Bay, but all of Nipissing-Temiskaming. In addition to supporting personal travel, our local airports are key connectors for business, healthcare, social services, and emerging resource development sector, something we hear a lot of these days with the promise of new development in Northern Ontario. As well, they allow us to have access to routine and emergency medical care in larger centers. And that's just a few of the reasons why this investment is so important. I want to thank the Ministry of Transportation for their investment of over $4 million for 3 different rehabilitation projects here at the Jack Garland Airport. Now, 122,000 of that will be going to replace a regulator transformer assembly. Now, I'd explain what that is, but I'll leave that to Jack. That's a little more technical than I can explain. Now, the next one is $800,000 will be used to install a high-intensity approach lights or system that'll be for runway number 8. And $3.4 million will be used for rehabilitation work on taxiways H, G, and Apron 2. Now, the investment made will improve access to safe, reliable, and efficient air transportation for many of our residents. This also continues the commitment made by the federal government to build safer, healthier, and stronger communities as Canada recovers from the pandemic. Now, I've been working closely with Mayor Al MacDonald, City Council and staff, as well as Jack Santerre and his staff at the airport to ensure that we can find ways to continue to make Jack Garland Airport operations as safe as possible. Now, a special shout out to John Severino over at City Hall. I mean, I know this is a lot of this is in his department, but he has been very tenacious, and I mean tenacious in a good way, at making sure that the funding coming to North Bay in multiple projects continues to come this way. And of course, I want to thank Mayor Al MacDonald and Jack Santerre and everyone else involved for working together on this issue and showing how critical transportation infrastructure is to the city of North Bay and the entire region. Well, thank you. Merci. Miigwech.
Thank you, Anthony. Again, if there are any questions, please type them out in the chat box. We'll get to them after the speeches. And I will now invite His Worship, the Mayor of the City of North Bay, Al MacDonald, to say a few words. Al?
Great. Thank you very much, Matt. And on behalf of City Council and our city staff, MP Rota, thank you very much for your continued support of our airport. Just before we came on, we were chatting about 2020, when all the airports got closed down across the country because there was no air travel and COVID. And our council did not waver. It put up the money to keep the airport operational because over 500 people in the aviation business depend on that airport. And the mining sector, which we have 95 mining companies here in our community, need to travel. So if we were to close the airport, because there was, you know, some chatter about just closing it down and opening it up, you know, when the COVID was over. But what most people didn't realize is if you close it down, it takes years before you can get it up and running again. So our council did not waver. It put the money up. The good news story, though, is even though the city said that they would fund the airport through 2020 and 2021, the airport did not need to tap into municipal funds. You know, and today's announcement really just shows, you know, when we work closely with the federal government and in particular our member, MP Rhoda, who's done an incredible job for us, it has worked extremely well. And Anthony did not shy away. I know how hard he worked in 2020 for us, and I know how hard he worked in 2021. And obviously, here we are in 2022. You know, what you've done has really helped us from an economic perspective. So our mandate is growth. You look at our airport industrial park, it's almost full. The amount of industry that keeps coming to our city is staggering, and that airport plays an incredible role. It's an important asset for us. So Anthony, thank you so much for your continued support. Today's announcement is spectacular. You know, you could say it's a Good Friday when you get that kind of money coming into our community and our airport. So that doesn't happen by snapping your fingers. That's banging on a lot of doors and making a lot of calls and twisting a lot of arms to make that happen. I'm very pleased that you recognized a few members of our staff too, because they work very hard behind the scenes. And if I can conclude with just a shout out to Jack and his team at the airport and their board. If you want to look at an operation that is run efficiently, that is a board that you really need to look at. We set, you know, over 800,000 aside in 2021 just to make sure they got through, and they never used a dime of it. They made the adjustments they need to make while keeping the airport open and supporting all our stakeholders. So Jack, to you and your team and your board, thank you so much. Our city's better off with your leadership. So thank you.
Thanks very much, Al. I will now invite the manager of North Bay's Jack Garland Airport, Jack Sontaro, to say a few words. Jack.
Good morning, MP Anthony Rhoda, Mayor McDonald, Matthew. Again, this is a great announcement today. It's been, I think, projects that we've been working on to try to continue improving our infrastructure. So the ACAP funding announced today is critical to maintain the airport infrastructure, which allows us to continue to provide a safe and secure system for all users. The estimated cost for the 3 projects is just shy of $5 million, subject to the final tender process. The plan is to have the projects out for tender in February, awarded sometime in March, and for the construction process to take place over the summer of 2022. The support provided today by the federal government and the city allows the airport to help drive the economy and provide essential transportation service to our region. And this is for all levels, not only airlines, it's for charters, it's for the mining companies, it's for cargo. There's a number of folks, and as Mayor McDonald noted, there's just a little over 500 jobs that are tied to the airport. So it's critical for the regional economy. On behalf of the North Bay Jack Garland Airport Corporation, we would like to thank our MP, Anthony Rhoda, Mayor McDonald, and City Council for their continued support during this COVID process, and all through all the years. It takes the whole team working together to make a system work for the region. So thank you very much for all of your support, and special thanks again to Anthony, because there's a number of levels where he's helped the airport in the past year and a half. Thank you very much.
Great, thanks so much, Jack. Okay, we will get into any questions. If you have any, you can leave them in the chat box below. I do see one question not related to this announcement. So if you got anything related to this announcement, we can get to those as well. But if Anthony would like to answer the question from Chris Dawson, any concerns about what might happen this weekend during the convoy protest? Anthony, as Member of Parliament, would you like to say a few words to that?
Yeah, the question is, am I concerned about what's going on, or the protest that's happening this weekend? Of course, I'm concerned. I mean, that's something that anybody who is looking at what is coming together is concerned. I think that the bulk of the protesters who have started, are actually, I mean, they have a right to protest, as every Canadian does. And that's something that I support wholeheartedly. I mean, you have the right to come out and say what you want if you don't agree with something. And that's something that's being protested on the Hill. But there's a small fringe group that have kind of come in, infiltrated the group, that I'm concerned about. And that's the ones I'm worried about on what exactly their plans are. And we don't know what their plans are. It's not just protesting on the Hill to get their opinion across. There's been some violence talked about. So hopefully that does not develop. And as a speaker of the House, part of my responsibility is security of the Hill. And I would just want to assure Canadians that the Hill is being well protected. I've had talks and briefings from security on the Hill and the Ottawa region on how things are being protected. So I'm looking forward to this all being over with. But in the meantime, like I said, the truckers do have the right to protest. A peaceful protest is what is allowed.
Great. Thanks, Anthony. From Your TV North Bay, I believe this is directed to Jack Santerre. What percentage has the airport been hurt by the pandemic?
So in 2020 and 2021, for scheduled passenger traffic was down about 80%. And our other traffic in 2020 was down a little around 70%. We were able to return that in 2021 to close to 75% of what it was pre-COVID. And right there now it's tracking at pre-COVID numbers for other traffic. Scheduled passenger is still an effort in work, and it will return. I have no doubt as we are emerging from the pandemic. As we saw last fall, the scheduled passenger traffic started to climb again, and it will climb and exceed pre-COVID numbers, I expect, within the next 2 years.
Perfect. Another one for you, Jack, from the North Bay Nugget, about how long will it take for this entire project to be completed, and will the work affect operations at the airport?
Yeah, so the work will impact some of the operations. It won't stop any of the flights. We've put plans into place for all of that to take place, but there will be areas of the aprons or areas that won't be able to be used while we're under construction. I expect that all three projects to be completed between the period of May 2022 to the end of September 2022.
Okay. And from CJTT News, again for Jack, is there a hope of attracting another carrier to the airport with the work being done through this investment today?
We're continuously working at looking at service for the airport and increased frequencies for flights. So that's an ongoing work. This work will maintain all the current flights and operations we have and make it possible to entertain new carriers if they're out there. Right there now, I would say until we come out of, as we're seeing across Canada, across the world actually, we need to have positive messaging in regards to air travel, and there needs to be a return to normal business levels for carriers to grow and expand. So once that comes into play, we'll work actively to attract new carriers.
Okay.
Matt, if I can just jump in really quick on what Jack has said, because their board is always looking for additional carriers. And it's something I know Anthony is well aware of as well and works with me. You just look at the announcement of Voyager Airways, and Jack mentioned, and I mentioned, the 500 people in the aviation business. This airport is creating jobs just in the aviation sector, and Voyager's trying to find even more people to work there. So, you know, Anthony's announcement today just gives further confidence to firms like Voyager to continue to invest and expand in our city. And as Jack said, it's a positive message, but it's also a message of confidence that, you know, the federal government and the municipal government are stepping up and making sure it's funded to create all these great paying jobs in our community. So I just wanted to add that in because, you know, the air carriers are so important to us, but that the workforce and the employment gains that we're seeing is critical to our growth.
If I can add on to that as well, and this is a shameless ad out there, if anybody who's watching or looking at this video later on, if you have family who's not living in North Bay and is in the aviation industry or in any industry for that matter, please have them consider North Bay. I mean, it's a beautiful city. Nipissing-Temiskaming is a wonderful riding, and I know we're seeing a lot of that from Toronto and other large centers where people are saying, why do I have to go through the rat race every day? Why can't I just live in a beautiful community where we have lakes, we have rivers, we have wilderness, and we have wonderful people? So if you have any relatives out there who are friends who are in the aviation industry who would like to work on that, please contact Voyager Airways or Jack Santa, and I'm sure he'll direct you in the right direction.
Excellent. All right. I think that's a good place to end it. Any questions not concerning this announcement, please feel free to give me a call or shoot me an email and we can address them as we go. I will be sending out a news release both in French and English following this announcement, and it will also have a recording of this entire session in that email as well. Thanks to everyone for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time. Hope you have a great day and a great weekend. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.